Okay, so now we have our box crate. We want to UV map it. Now, why do we want to UV map it? Well, UV mapping is the process of taking this 3D object and flattening it into a 2D image. And that image or template you can then take into other applications to paint a texture onto it, whether that be a 2D program like Affinity or Adobe Photoshop, or maybe a 3D one like 3D Coat or Substance Painter. You still need a UV map. So let's start to have a look at the general kind of process in Blender. So we're going to go to the UV editing room. Now over here you might have an actual map when you do it. I've cleared my map just to start from scratch. So to do that, if you press U, whoops, that's not the U key, U, and then reset, it will come to this window. Okay, so to unwrap something we need to define UV seams, and the UV seams are the kind of borders where it will split bits of the model and flatten them independently of the other pieces. Now the general process is to have as little distortion and as few seams as possible. But in this case we're not going to really worry about that too much. We're just going to define some seams and get it unwrapped. Because this is going to be a wooden crate, I have some kind of thoughts in my head about how I want that to happen. So we're just going to go through it step by step. So our first seams, I want to mark around our big flat inset pieces there. So I'm going to go into poly mode and just go around and select each of those. So I've just got shift held down and I'm just selecting them bit by bit. Whoops, there we go. And now I want to define the outside of that as a UV seam. So we can just click on our edge mode here to convert our selection to edges, and then we can either use U and mark seams, and you'll notice they come up orange now, or we can go edge, mark seam. I think using the U menu here is more concise. You know, we're going to be working in here quite a lot, so when you're in the UV room I'd say do that. Okay, so now we actually want to unwrap this because we've defined our first seams, and you know, we're going to get some nice islands and we're going to get some really distorted ones, and we'll see what it looks like. So press the U key and then click unwrap, and in this case it's unwrapped our selection, and they all look okay. Some of them are a little bit angled, but that's fine. That will do for us in this particular case. But what I want to do now is convert back to polygons, and now I want to hide those polygons because I've UV mapped them. I don't need to, you know, do anything else with them. So let's press the H key and that will hide those. And you now notice that we've got these red edges, and that's the UV seams. So what we need to do now is split each of these cross pieces into its own UV island by defining seams at the edges. So what we'll do to start with is we'll do the verticals. So I've got Alt and Shift held down, and I'm clicking to select the loop around those posts. Whoops, I let go of Shift. Sorry, I let go of Alt. There we go. So that's all of those defined. So now I can go to View, go to the Edge mode. So now I've got the edges selected, but I don't actually want that. What I want is the border. So let's go back to Poly mode and go Select, Select Loops, and then Boundary. And now I've just got the corners selected. And now on the U key we can mark those seams, and they're now set as proper seams. So we need to do the same for around the sides, but what we're going to do first is just unwrap what we've got. Actually, I need to have some of it selected at least, so let's press A to select everything, and then U and unwrap. And now I've got these nice vertical posts, and we've got our other pieces which we need to unwrap. So first of all, I want to hide what I've mapped because I don't need to see it anymore. So I'm just going to click off there to clear my selection, and then in poly mode, got Shift Alt held down. I'm going to select everything around those posts and then press H to hide. And now we've just got these top ones to do. So again, Shift Alt, and I'm going to select my loops on my horizontal pieces there, just the pieces facing each other, not adjacent, and then select loops, select boundary loops, and then U, and mark seams, and that will mark our essentially our final seam. So let me just select everything again. So oops, in poly mode, click A, and then press the U key and unwrap, and now all of our pieces are unwrapped. There we go. So I want to see everything now. So let's I believe it's Alt U, Alt H, and that's now showing me everything. And whoops, if I click A, now I can unwrap it all together and it should pack it. So we'll press U and unwrap, and it's unwrapped our model and packed it all onto one map. So we need all of our islands to be within this square, this 0 to 1 space. So this point here where the origin is 0, this is 1 at the top, and it's 1 horizontal. Okay, so that's our basic unwrap. In the next video, what we'll do is come back in and perhaps adjust the map and add a material to it. So I'll talk to you then.